Welcome to the inaugural Mustang League Southern United States Championship for 9- and 10-year-old boys. 4 days ago, young players began arriving from Georgia, Alabama, Florida, Oklahoma, South Texas, and North Texas to decide the champion of Pony Baseball's Mustang League. Today, only 2 are left as Cypress Fairbanks of Houston, Texas, and the North Tampa All-Stars meet in Garland, Texas. Today's championship game is brought to you by GTE. At GTE, the power is on. By Baylor Medical Center at Garland. Baylor at Garland is here for you. By the Ramada Inn Northeast, the official host hotel for the Mustang Championship Series. And by the Garland Community Hospital. We've brought quality health care close to home. Hello everyone, I'm Alan Stone, and if you're wondering just how well 9- and 10-year-old boys today can play baseball, well, stay with us because you may be in for a very pleasant surprise. Partner today is 6-time Gold Glove winning catcher Jim Sundberg, now the analyst for the Texas Rangers. And Jim, I'm sure as a youngster you spent quite a bit of time playing youth baseball, but one thing you didn't have to deal with was the television camera.
Really did not have to. In fact, I remember the butterflies. I happened to go and play a game the day of the game. Used to remember being nervous and thinking about trying to win and play well, trying to make mom and dad happy, things like that, and really did not have the opportunity to play on TV until my second year in the big leagues for the Rangers, and it was in a nationally televised game on a Saturday afternoon in Yankee Stadium. I remember being nervous at that time, and very important today, and the coaches have been stressing this to the kids, is try not to pay attention to the cameras and play good, relaxed baseball.
Today's teams match the Lone Star and Sunshine State in what should be quite a ball game as we show you how the 2 ball clubs, North Tampa, Florida, and Cypress Fair got here today. Cypress Fair winning by scores of 9-1, 18-3, and 9-4 over their 3 opponents. And North Tampa, Florida, just as impressive, if not a little bit more. Their scores 10-0, 9-0, and 11-1, setting up this ball game. And when we return, we'll meet the players here at our host city of Garland, Texas. Here is the starting lineup for the Cypress Fairbanks All-Stars for this afternoon's game. Leading off and playing second base is Jeremy Hamlin. Batting second is the third baseman J.R. Barden. Hitting third this afternoon, shortstop Greg Sanford. In the cleanup position and also pitching is Thomas Murray. The first baseman is number 5, Drew Vaughn, who also is batting fifth. Center fielder batting 6th today is Justin Matheson. Batting 7th is right fielder Bubba Teague. The 8th hitter is the catcher Reagan Washington. And batting 9th for Cy-Fair is left fielder Buck Kubiak. Also in uniform this afternoon, but not starting for Cypress Fairbanks, number 21, Jared Grine. Number 7, Brian Molesky. And number 34, John Taylor. Alan Stone and Jim Sundberg ready for the first pitch. And the leadoff batter for Cy-Fair is Jeremy Hamlin, the second baseman. The starting pitcher for the North Tampa Yankees is Jason Silbert. And Jim, Mr. Silbert got a pretty impressive arm on him.
You know, it's interesting. In this particular ball game, you're looking at the way they run the pitching is that every 3 days you can change over, so to speak. Pitchers normally 3 innings of work. Today he can go as many as 5 innings. And
by the way, this is a 6-inning ball game. The count is now up to 1-2 on the leadoff batter, Jeremy Hamlin, the second baseman for Cy-Fair, which is short for Cypress Fairbanks, which is a suburb of Houston, Texas. They go by the name of the All-Stars, going against the North Tampa, Florida Yankees, and both teams have been very impressive in getting here. As we said, North Tampa's only given up 1 run in their first 3 games, and Hamlin takes a called third strike. So 1 up and 1 down for Cy-Fair. And the next batter will be the third baseman for Cypress Fairbanks, J.R. Barden, the third baseman. Barden so far is 3 out of 8 in this series, with an on-base percentage of .500. And Jason Silbert continuing to throw strikes early.
Well, Matt Hungarian move there behind the pitcher's mound. Nice curveball.
Yeah, looked like he took something off of that one, and it's now an 0-2 count. We have, what, 6 umpires today?
I think we've got it covered.
Covered and then some.
They should have 6 for the Major League ball games. I think it would be a little bit of help.
Editorial comment by Mr. Sunbird, duly noted. So the count is now 1-2 to Barden. He too becomes a strikeout victim of Jason Silbert. 2 up and 2 down on strikeouts.
A little reach back, big curveball right here. This is something that you'll see quite a bit today. Not many kids at this age throw the curveball, but you'll see it a few times from this ball club in Florida.
The shortstop for Cy-Fair, Greg Sanford, fouling it off down the right field line. Greg is 10 years of age and an honor student at Post Elementary in Jersey Village. Favorite food is Chinese, developing quite a varied taste in food for a youngster his age. Collects baseball cards and, like seemingly every youngster these days, loves Nintendo.
Until you look on the favorite players of a lot of these kids that are playing today. I know back in years of, as I was growing up back in Galesburg, Illinois, the Cubs were a big favorite of mine, along with the New York Yankees. Of course, Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, that group, along with Ernie Banks, Ron Santo. But now you got the Ricky Hendersons, along with Jose Cansecos, Wade Boggs, Eric Davis, a lot of the favorites that I've mentioned from these kids playing today. Very good ball players and guys that are familiar names.
3 up and 3 down as Greg Sanford strikes out. Jason Silbert strikes out the side to start the ball game, and at the end of a half inning, it is Cypress Fairbanks nothing, and the North Tampa Yankees coming to bat. For the North Tampa, Florida Yankees, leading off and playing center field is Timmy Seaton. Batting second, the left fielder Joey Brodigan. Hitting third will be the third baseman Charles Feiger. Hitting cleanup this afternoon, Joe Barrezo, the catcher. Hitting in the 5th slot, the right fielder Joey Simon. Batting sixth, the shortstop Zach Grant. In the 7th position, second baseman Ben Otero. Luis Zelaya will be hitting 8th and playing first base. And batting 9th and pitching is Jason Silbert. Also in uniform this afternoon for the North Tampa Yankees, number 6, Nicholas Del Vecchio. Number 5, Davey Ferraro. Number 38, Robert Holcomb. Number 3, Anthony Paleo. And number 7, Isaiah Villanueva. So our first look at the North Tampa, Florida Yankees on offense. They've been impressive. In their 3 prior games, they've scored 30 runs. And their leadoff batter is Timmy Seaton, the center fielder, who mentions among things he likes to do other than play baseball is he likes dancing. The starting pitcher for Cypress Fairbanks is Thomas Murray, and the first pitch is low and inside. Seaton, the first left-handed hitter of the ball game, and obviously showing bunt as he takes another pitch out of the strike zone.
Well, basically, the strategy of where these lineups go, normally major league level, you've got that leadoff hitter that you'd like to try to get on base, a guy that has a lot of speed. You have particular roles for each guy as you move down through the lineup. But here in Little League ball game, you've got your best hitters usually scoring out the first 4, 5, 6 places in the lineup.
One thing we ought to point out, Jim, is that the rules for youth league very similar, the pony league very similar to Major League Baseball. Just the distances between bases and obviously the distance between the pitching mound and home plate are different. But all the other rules as far as stealing bases, holding on the third strike, all of that very similar. There's a long ball at the right center field. That is over the fence and a home run for Timmy Seaton, the center fielder for North Tampa, Florida. And it does not take them but one batter to get on the scoreboard.
This is a tough ball club. Team batting average over 380, and I believe their 10th home run this year.
First by Timmy Seaton, his 3rd RBI of this tournament. He came in batting .333. Boy, for a young man to win up there, showing bunt almost all the way.
And a high ball left-handed hitter. Normally, left-handers are low ball hitters, and he got a hold of that ball up in the strike zone.
So the next batter, the left fielder, Joey Brodigan. And he, too, shows bunt on the first pitch, which is a bit outside. Brodigan's a fisher and a baseball card collector. Count goes to 1-1. His favorite baseball player is Eric Davis of the Cincinnati Reds.
We're going to talk about favorite players. I think something that probably hurts if you're an Houston Astro.
Boy, Brodigan got good wood on it, too. This one off the top of the fence. Brodigan heads for second base and in easily with a double. So North Tampa, Florida just exploding. They're their first two batters really stroking the long ball.
And one advantage that Tampa may have today is basically the pitchers that will be facing throw fastballs. They don't throw a lot of curveballs, so you can kind of tee off on that fastball. Here's another one up in the strike zone, and a double off the wall.
Charles Baker hits it low on the ground toward third. He's going to beat it out for an infield hit. So everything going right for the North Tampa Yankees as they have runners on first and third with nobody out. 3 batters up and 3 batters on for the Yankees.
The conditions of this field very soft. The ball hit down, rolled very softly down the line, and stayed fair.
This will bring up the catcher, Joe Barrizzo, who is a mere 7 of 9 so far in this series, with 2 doubles and 2 triples.
And really their best hitter. He has 6 of their home runs, and I guess if our number is correct, this club does have 10 home runs. He has over half of them, and his father giving him a little bit of advice.
His father,
a little encouragement from Dad.
Yeah, his father, one of the coaches of this ball club, and you pronounce his last name Barrizzo.
Come on, Dad, now take it easy, settle down. Yeah, the coach trying to get his youngster to settle down a little bit, giving up a home run, a double and single, and at this time you just need that fatherly encouragement.
That's Bruce Sanford, the manager of the Cypress Fairbanks All-Stars, out to talk to his pitcher Thomas Murray, who's been rocked early with a couple of extra base hits and then the infield single. And there's a ball hit high in the air and deep to right center. It is gone. Goodness gracious, what a power display by North Tampa as the lead now goes to 4-0 on the 3-run home run by Joe Barrizzo.
Well, whatever Dad told him paid off. Dad walks in from the coach's box, gives his son a little bit of advice, and the son goes deep.
Well, now that it's happened, we can tell you that we were informed about how tough and how powerful this North Tampa, Florida Yankees ball club is, and they have been nothing but impressive here early.
And they don't seem to be having any pressure playing in front of the TV.
They may like it. Next batter up will be the right fielder, Joey Simon, with the score already 4-0 and still nobody out for North Tampa.
You're talking about TV, you know, back in '74 when I first broke into the big leagues, there was not a lot of TV on baseball, basically national television by the main networks. Now today you've got clubs that are basically covered maybe 130 or 40 times on TV during the course of a season. And TV has definitely changed the game.
And I think we're into an era now where these kids growing up, you said the first time you were on TV was when you were with the Rangers playing at Yankee Stadium, and Simon takes a called third strike, and there is finally one out for North Tampa. I think this generation of youngsters, especially if they're of this caliber, are going to grow up having been so exposed to television and so used to it that the things that you went through, the butterflies, as a professional, are just not going to be a factor.
I think part of the advancement of just technology and the way life is, you move forward, and it reaches down farther and farther into grade schools, and in the case here.
Zach Grant, the shortstop for the Yankees, the next batter up with one out, and North Tampa having jumped out early to a 4-0 lead here in the first quarter. Zach's favorite player is Ken Griffey Jr., and he predicts we're going to see a World Series between the Chicago White Sox and the LA Dodgers.
Now remember, we're doing baseball. This is first inning in that first quarter.
What did I say? First quarter? Grounded to the right side. And the second out for North Tampa. Those old habits are the hardest to break. Well, I have been doing something else besides basketball,
Right.
but unfortunately it's football, and they play quarters as well.
I watch you a lot doing Maverick games, so that can happen.
2 outs and Ben Otero to the plate, the second baseman for the Yankees, and he takes a called strike as Thomas Murray, the pitcher for Cy Fair, after getting rocked early, seems to have settled down a bit.
His first strikeout was on a curveball. After a lot of hitting going on, he started to mix in a breaking pitch, and is probably something that looks like he may have to do to try to be effective against this ball club.
Young man batting, Benjamin Otero, is another Cincinnati Reds and Eric Davis fan.
I begin to mention about the favorite players, major league players today of these kids that are playing, and it's got to hurt if you're a Houston Astro. As I looked at their favorites, the kids that are from Houston, not a one of them from the Houston Astros. Maybe the next one, Nolan Ryan was one. Craig Reynolds another.
Third strike, and it gets away from the catcher, and the throw is bad, and Otero will get into second base after striking out with the pitch in the dirt. Got away from the catcher for Cy Fair. That would be Reagan Washington. Then a bad throw toward first base, and Otero ends up at second base. And once again, we remind you that we are playing major league rules here, so the catchers do have to hold the third strike or the batter can run, and he obviously did there. Luis Zelaya, the first baseman, batting 8th in the order for the Tampa Yankees. Hit towards second, and a nice put out by Jeremy Hamlin, the second baseman. And so the first inning comes to an end, but 2 home runs by the North Tampa, Florida Yankees have given them a commanding 4-0 lead at the end of the first inning. Cy Fair coming to bat in the top of the second, down 4-0 to North Tampa. Interesting young man in the Cy Fair dugout.
You know, what the kiddos will do, they'll grab a piece of candy there, which is the ball, and stick it in his head. After the game, they'll celebrate, break it open, and have something.
First batter is Thomas Murray, the pitcher, and that is the first ball that has been hit fairly by Cy Fair this afternoon, as the starting pitcher for North Tampa, Jason Silbert, struck out the side in the first inning, but Murray leads off with a single here to open the second, and that'll bring up first baseman Drew Vaughn. Bad throw on the pickoff attempt, and Murray's going to head towards second. So Cy Fair with a runner in scoring position already. And we have a stoppage of play as Murray apparently hurt himself, either sliding back to first base, maybe on the attempted pickoff. The ball appears to have hit him, and Murray a little bit of discomfort. And obviously, for the Cy Fair coaching staff, great concern, not only their starting pitcher, but their cleanoff batter as well.
I think maybe Bill Ziegler might take a little example, the Ranger trainer, the way they rub that back there. Ball hitting him right in the back, and a nice job of getting up and making it to second base.
So Murray...
No ethyl chloride out here to spray on the backs. We're pretty primitive out here today. We don't have much ice.
Garland, Texas, hosting this tournament this weekend. This is the championship ball game, and Drew Vaughn, the first baseman, now up for Cy Fair. The pitch is inside. Vaughn's a pretty well-rounded youngster when it comes to athletics. He plays basketball, tennis, swimming. Besides playing baseball, collects baseball cards. Whoops, they've got Murray headed toward third on the pickoff, but no, they say Murray got into third base safely. Very unusual that he could be safe on that play and not have to slide to do it.
Yeah, when you're out by 10 feet and the ball is on the ground. Well, he might have gotten around it. The umpire's right there. And in the spirit of sportsmanship, we'll go along with the umpire.
Bad pitch again, way too high, and
now this is the kind of backstop I like. I mean, I wish when I was playing I could have had one like this.
You could play another 5 years if you didn't cover any more ground than that.
About 10 feet behind, you can miss one and still throw a guy out at second.
The count is 2-0 to Vaughn with a runner on third base and nobody out. And again, the pickoff play, but Silbert, the pitcher, just lost the handle on that one. So Silbert, who was absolutely perfect in the first inning, striking out all 3 batters he faced, gave up a leadoff single to Murray. Then a bad pickoff throw allowed Murray to get to second. Then in a rundown, Murray got to third. And here's a strike, but they've got Murray caught again in a rundown between third and home. And Murray is tagged out, and that takes him out of the loop. And an error there as the count. That was a strange situation setting to be. That was almost a suicide squeeze on a 2-0 count. Nobody out and a man on third, and you're 4 down.
Well, it is, but I think any way you can try to score runs is they're playing against a team, a Tampa team that's a good hitting club, and if you can pick up a run somehow, do it. If you got a good bunter at the plate, obviously he had a little trouble with that pitch.
The batter, Drew Vaughn, is 9 for 3 so far, and the count. That is ball 4. So Vaughn gets to first base, and Cy Fair has their second base runner of the inning and of the ball game. And the next man up will be center fielder Justin Matheson. And another lefty. And he too up there to bunt. As on the first pitch, Vaughn easily steals second base. Not even a throwing attempt there. Matheson, already bleeding orange at the age of 10, hopes to play for the University of Texas Longhorns.
I'll tell you what, he's on his way. He's got the batting gloves down. Good looking set of batting gloves.
Count is 1-1 to Matheson with a runner on second and 1 out. North Tampa leading Cy Fair 4-0 here in the top of the second inning as they exploded with a couple of home runs in the first. Cy Fair making their first offensive noise here in the top of the second.
I've got the Rick Sutcliffe move down. Saw Rick Sutcliffe make that many times for the Cubs over about a year and a half.
Matheson with the off-speed pitch nips the outside corner, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Oh, well, I was wondering if these kids knew how to throw a backdoor breaking ball. This one right here catches the outside corner. Nice pitch.
Count evens at 2. Matheson in this series so far is 2 out of 6 with a double and a couple of RBIs. Of course, we're seeing the cream of the cream in the championship game. 2 very potent offensive ball clubs. And here's a bad pitch that's going to allow Vaughn to go all the way to third base. So for the second time this inning, Cy Fair has a runner on third with 1 out.
Yeah, it looks like in these games the pitchers can turn the receivers into retrievers. It can be a little tiring by the end of the game.
And Justin Matheson draws the walk. So now Cy Fair with 2 men on and only 1 man out. And Bubba Teague, the right fielder, actually his real name is Roger Aston Teague III. Whoa.
And now it makes that failed suicide squeeze even more important. At least the fact that they did not pull it off. They would have bases loaded and nobody out. Instead, first and third and 1.
One of the coaches for the North Tampa Yankees, Rick Simon, out to speak to his starting pitcher, Jason Silbert. As Teague, with 2 on and 1 out, steps in. And immediately, Matheson goes down towards second base. And so now, Cy Fair with 2 runners in scoring position. As we see Justin Matheson now down to second base. Well, I tell you what, things happen fast in these games, Sonny.
And it's the kind of speed that you'd like to see more of the major league games. I tell you, it gets to be about 3.5 hour ball game that Rangers play. And these games, for the most part, have gone through very quickly, even though we've had a lot of activity.
Teague hitting an even 500. 4 out of 8 so far in this series. Count goes to 2 balls and 1 strike as Silbert, who was just so close to perfect in that first inning, struggling a bit here in the second, and Cy Fair trying to climb back into this one.
Well, these kids just do less scratching around like the major league players do. You know, and Julio Franco will step out of the batter's box and spend about 15-20 minutes looking around, adjusting everything. These kids kind of jump right in there, get in and say, "Throw me the ball, I'm ready to hit." Pitcher step on the mound and go to it.
I wonder at what age do they start to learn all of those gestures and gesticulations they should be going through between pitches.
Well, I tend to think they probably learn younger than this. They just don't put that stuff on when they get out here during the game.
Full count pitch. Hit on the ground toward first. The play will be to home plate. A bad throw, and Cy-Fair's got their first run of the game. So the North Tampa, Florida Yankees have made several errors here in the second inning. And runners remain at the corners at first and third as Drew Vaughn scored to make it a 4-1 ball game.
Here's one of the differences. Normally in a major league ball game, first baseman would have stepped on first and conceded the run and picked up the second out, but now they're in real trouble.
And we're picking up real quick that it is very easy at this age to steal second base, as Teague has done just that. So the runners now move up to second and third. And the young man batting, believe it or not, is a very distant relative of the father of our country, George Washington. 10-year-old Reagan Washington, a native Houstonian living in the Jersey Village area. And the count here goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 1 out, runners on second and third, Cy-Fair has gotten a run in. They now trail North Tampa 4-1. Count remains at 1-2. Boy, a hit here, Sonny, and this game has tightened up considerably.
Well, it's the kind of thing you'd like to see. You'd like to see this game be very close instead of a one-sided game. Championship games, I think, for the most part, when they're within 1 or 2 runs, remain very exciting.
2-2 is the count. To Reagan Washington, the catcher for Cy-Fair. To win this series so far is 2 out of 6. And that curveball grabbed the inside corner. That's a 4th strikeout so far for Jason Silbert. And so it'll be left up to Buck Kubiak, the left fielder.
That's really been a key pitch for Jason. That really has been the difference in this ball game. Whenever he's able to get his curveball over, he has been effective.
Kubiak, a member of the team that won the Tex-Mex Series in Houston last year. Got just a piece of that one, fouling it backwards, and it's a 1-1 count. 2 outs, 2 on.
You mentioned just a little while ago the players imitating, the youngsters here imitating major league players of today. I think mainly you'll see it in probably their stances. You know, the way they hold the bat, the way they stand in the batter's box.
And the use of the batting gloves. Like everybody's got one of those these days. 1-2 now the count. 2-2 to Buck Kubiak, the left fielder, and the 9th batter in the order for Cy-Fair. And Kubiak is 3 out of 6. And they say that pitch grabbed the inside corner down around the knees, and Kubiak strikes out. So the 5th strikeout already for Jason Silbert. 1 run in for Cy-Fair, and at the end of an inning and a half, it is North Tampa 4 and Cy-Fair 1. A reminder, today's game is being brought to you in part by Sports Supports. For complete ankle support systems superior to taping, look for Sports Supports products. Also, for all of the visiting teams that are in the city of Garland for this tournament this weekend, the official host hotel for the Mustang Championship Series, the Ramada Inn Northeast. Second time at bat for the North Tampa, Florida Yankees, who got all but 1 batter in their lineup up in that first inning. This will be the pitcher Jason Silbert batting 9th, leading it off. As the score is 4-1 in favor of the Yankees. And again, the bunt is fouled off for the right side. Silbert's another one of these young men, Sonny, who claims Nolan Ryan is his favorite baseball player. So Nolan's popularity, of course, is obvious to all of us, but certainly extends as far east and south as the state of Florida.
There are 1 in about 5 million Nolan Ryan fans across America, probably more than that.
It is neat, though, to see these youngsters have as their favorite player a 44-year-old pitcher. one of my generation.
Well, you're not going to find it that often where a guy that over 40 years of age has caught the eye of youngsters 10 years of age.
They say Silbert went around, and he strikes out. Second strikeout so far for Thomas Murray, the pitcher for Cy-Fair. And I'm not sure if Silbert went around, but they called the third strike. Here's Timmy Seaton, who led off the ball game, or led up the bottom of the first, I should say, with a home run for North Tampa back in the first inning.
Well, I mentioned this Tampa ball club raised a lot of money to get here for this. They have flown from Tampa and did a lot of different types of fundraisers to get the money, kind of money to make this possible. And they wanted to thank a lot of people back there.
Well, they've got a big, noisy fan contingent as well. Timmy Seaton goes 2 for 2 with a single to right field. With one out here in the second.
The one play in the Little League that you'll see quite often, not at the Major League level, the right fielder getting a shot at throwing the runner out at first base. You won't see Ruben Sierra do this very much.
And he almost had a play there. This will bring up Brodicum, who had a double back in the first inning. Hit on the ground toward third. Nice stop. Can he make the play? Yes. And the runner here goes all the way to third, but there's 2 out. There's a nice play by the third baseman for Cy-Fair, J.R. Barton. Knocked it down, came up with it, and got the batter.
Really a nice play. Got to the ball, kept it in front of him, picked it up, and the out.
A nice play, too, by the first baseman, Drew Vaughn, who pulled off the bag, managed to get back and make the tag. Second baseman Charles Feger, who's also 1 of 1 with a single, up here now with 2 outs and a runner on third base.
After that last play, we probably should mention just how well the field is, how good a condition after a lot of rain. People spent some time out here working on it. Nice grass infield, and I checked it around earlier, and not many rocks out there. Normally in a Little League field you see quite a few boulders hanging around, but nice conditions.
Shortstop comes up with it, makes the throw, and so North Tampa, after getting 4 runs in the first, gets 0 in the second, and at the end of 2, it is the North Tampa Yankees 4 and the Cy-Fair All-Stars 1. Pony Baseball is an acronym that stands for Protect Our Nation's Youth. This marks the 40th anniversary of the program that started in Washington, Pennsylvania. Today, more than 300,000 players participate in worldwide leagues. The Mustang League for 9- and 10-year-old players started in Fort Worth, Texas in 1970. Part of the success of the Pony program has been the careful research to scale the diamond down to fit the player's age and keep the players in 2-year age groupings to ensure better competitive balance. So we move on to the top of the third inning. And the first batter up for Cy-Fair is Jeremy Hamlin. So the base distances are 60 feet, which is one obvious modification, and 44 feet the distance between the pitcher's mound and home plate.
It looks like Nolan Ryan throws from 44 feet every time he goes out there.
Well, he is just one incredible athlete. I cannot think of another athlete. Everybody talk about Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in basketball, who played well into his 40s, but his game definitely changed as he got older, the way he played the game. But for a player of Nolan Ryan's age to still be getting by with the heater as his primary pitch is just an incredible thing to think about.
Well, Nolan is the ideal for mechanics. If you want to have a youngster learn the proper mechanics on the mound, Nolan is outstanding in that area, and that basically is the reason why he's still pitching at the age of 44 and throwing the heater.
Jeremy Hamlin walks to start off the top of the third, so Cy-Fair trying to come back again. Has a base runner on early. That'll bring up J.R. Barden, who made the nice play at third base a moment ago. And on the first pitch, Hamlin steals second. Hamlin on second base, Barden at bat, and the man to follow, Sanford, all were strikeout victims. Pitcher Jason Silbert in the first inning.
This is the first year that these youngsters are allowed to steal, being in Pony League. And you begin to see the importance of having somebody behind the plate that can throw. And we've got some good ones.
They got Hamlin caught, going between second and third, and for the second time in this ball game, a Cy-Fair runner gets caught between bases. So Hamlin is run down, going to third.
Nice little turn again. This time they gets him, and we're going to have a nice tag. Plenty of time. I guess you need to make it obvious for these umpires.
Always a good idea, Sonny. Fouled off, making the count 1-1 to Barton, who was born in Jackson, Mississippi, but moved to Houston, Texas in 1984. Been playing baseball since '86. He's quite a deer hunter. This is the young man you were reading about earlier.
They had the bag 10 already?
Bag 10 deer. That's one for every year of his life.
I'm 40. I haven't seen 10.
Count is 1-1 with one out in the top of the third. We'll play 6 innings today in this championship game. And they say Barton went around.
It kind of makes you wonder, Dave. We felt that Dave Burchett's team would probably be in this final championship game, and they're not here. We heard that.
You mean our director-producer, Dave Burchett?
Yeah, our director-producer, that his team should be here. He had the ability, he had the talent on the ball club, but just managing, I think, managing strategy really got the most of it.
Yeah, they went home early, didn't they? I think the score was something like 3-18 in the ball game. Yeah, well,
normally they play good when he's on the road with the Rangers directing those games, but unfortunately for the kids, he was at home.
Barton strikes out for the second time in this ball game, and that is now 6 strikeouts for pitcher Jason Silbert, and there's 2 outs and nobody on for Cy-Fair in the third. And Greg Sanford, the shortstop, up for his second attempt and a strikeout victim in the first inning.
I mentioned the pitchers in this game today are allowed to, I believe, go 5 innings, and North Tampa Yankees have, as you see, Jason Seibert on the mound. Joey Simon is what they consider their closer, and you may see him in the last 3 innings. Possibly the coach was mentioning he would try to split up the pitching duty today, depending on how Jason went through the first 3 innings.
Simon is playing right field to start this game. Count is 2-1 to Greg Sanford. As Cy-Fair down 4-1 in the top of the third. North Tampa exploding for all 4 of their runs in the first inning on a couple of home runs.
We need our glove after that. See that ball come through there.
How'd that ball come through there? That's what I want to know. Our home plate cameraman, Palmer Moynihan, wondering exactly the same thing.
Palmer's got to have that. I don't know where his glove is.
3-2, the count to Sanford with 2 outs and nobody on. Cy-Fair, of course, short for Cypress Fairbanks. If you follow high school football in the state of Texas, that name will be very familiar to you. And Sanford draws the walk. With 2 outs, this will bring up Murray, the pitcher, Tom Murray. We got the first hit of the game for Cy-Fair. In fact, their only hit of the game, leading off the second inning. And it certainly is unusual at this age, Sonny, that you find the pitcher many times the best athlete on the team and also the cleanup hitter in this case.
I might go back to something that Buddy Bell once said, that he had all of his kids. In fact, he's got one playing professional ball right now. He had all of them pitch and catch as they were growing up through Little League. And I think the point there being that those are 2 positions where you really learn the game, where you really have a chance to develop different skills. And I can say that that's basically what I did through Little League. I caught most of the time. When I didn't get the chance to catch, I was pitching. I did not have a Darth Vader helmet like that. I mainly got hit on the head from the bat and the ball.
Well, it is tough at this young game. Well, there's a good ball at the right field, deep to right. Going to bounce it in the fence. This will bring across Cy-Fair's second run, and Murray goes into second base. He has both of the Cy-Fair All-Stars hits. This a ringing double to right field and makes our score 4-2.
That's a pretty good hit right here. And we've seen that quite a bit today already. Some balls making it to the fence and one over.
And this will bring up Drew Vaughn, the first baseman, with another runner in scoring position. All this happened after 2 were out for Cy-Fair. Back to what we were talking about trying to get youngsters to play pitcher and catcher. It's still, I would think, the psychological hurdle, though, of getting kids to accept the non-glamorous position of catching at a young age. That's never something people seem to want to do when they're young.
Well, a lot of, from what I'm hearing, is the mothers. A lot of mothers do not want their kids to put on the tools back there and have the chance of getting hurt. In fact, a lot of the pickoff play safe at second. A lot of the best catchers now in the big leagues you see are coming from Latin countries, and down there they are really putting out an effort to have the catchers come through and develop the skills. In fact, the word is down there, if you want to get out of here and make it in the big leagues quickly, put on the tools of intelligence.
Coach Dave Kubiak got to see about his pitcher Tom Murray as Silbert has again showed us a very fine pickoff move. Didn't get the man, but came very close to doing so. As the count goes to 3-0 to Drew Vaughn. All we have to do is look at a fine, upstanding young man like yourself and realize that you can be glamorous and be a catcher as well. Murray will steal third base here as Vaughn draws the walk. And Cy-Fair continuing to make some noise here with runners on the corner with 2 out, and Justin Matheson, the center fielder, coming up to bat. It's a 4-2 ball game in the top of the third.
Well, I ended up catching because my mother was a catcher. That's probably the only reason why.
Your mother was a catcher?
No, she was the supporter there at every game. Because, as I say, it's because when I was 10 years old, the team didn't have a catcher, and my dad recommended that I would be the catcher, and that's how I got started. Nobody else wanted to, and just run the score.
On the strike, but the ball getting away from the catcher for North Tampa. That is Joe Barrazo, and the third run comes in for Cy-Fair, which has tightened this ball game up considerably. And the tying run, Drew Vaughn goes down to third, as that was the pitcher Thomas Murray who doubled, went to third on a walk, and scored on either a wild pitch or a pass ball. Here's a foul ball, and the count stays at 0-2.
And Jason Seibert on the mound beginning to look a little tired here in the third inning. He's walked 3 people in this frame.
And given up the double. Got one of them back when he picked a runner off.
It's been a tough road trip. They're not used to being gone 4 or 5 days. You know, it's a lot of ball games, eating away from good home cooking.
And an extra grind on the coaching staff. How would you like to have all these little kids out on the road for 4 or 5 days? The ball games become the easy part, Sonny. There's a lot to do out here with Wet and Wild.
Everybody's going to have a week off when they get back.
1-2 with the tying run on third.
I don't think they've had the time to go to Wet and Wild. They may have to stay around for a few days and relax and go to a few of those activities.
Silbert thought that pitch was good enough to be a called third strike. The umpire obviously disagreeing, and so the count goes to 2-2. Another bad pitch, and this could tie the game. Yes, coming in to score is Drew Vaughn, and we are tied. Cy-Fair, after getting behind 4-0 in the first inning, has knotted it up at 4, and the count to Justin Matheson goes to 3-2. And Jim, all of this came after 2 were out.
It has, and the walks. In fact, the Rangers on the last road trip walked 22 batters in 3 games, and they can be costly.
Ball 4. That's the 4th walk of the inning, surrendered by Jason Silbert. So Matheson goes down to first.
Jason's struggling.
And Jason's taking it hard, too.
He is.
I believe this is the pitching coach, Rick Simon, whose son, I believe that's his son, who's the right fielder, and as you mentioned, the closer for this North Tampa ball club, is Rick Simon out to try to settle down Jason Silbert, as we see the right fielder Joey Simon, waiting for the call, but it's not going to come right here. As Bubba Teague, the right fielder who reached base in the second inning on an error, up for his second time. As you can hear the noise being made by the Cypress Fairbanks fans along the first base line.
You begin to see the emotion of this ball game. Youngster gets upset on the mound, and another stolen base.
It just doesn't like it. It doesn't look like at this age group that it is much of a chance for the defense to stop the runners from stealing second. Just too much of a throw for the catcher. But Silbert here will keep Matheson close at second base.
And again, we mentioned this earlier, this is the first year that really runners are allowed to steal a base. So it may take a couple of years before they can actually refine their skills where that becomes a more effective tool for the defense.
And the frustration starting to mount. You can see the catcher, Joe Barrazo, starting to get a bit upset with his pitcher. And obviously, if Barrazo is going to succeed as a catcher, he's not going to be able to be that demonstrative on the field toward his pitcher.
Well, catchers have been known to go out and pick a few pitchers up off the ground.
Foul ball as the runner was moving, Justin Matheson. Count is 2 balls and a strike. As Cy Fair has fought back after getting down 4-0, surrendering a couple of home runs at first. They have tied the game here with 3 runs in the third, 1 run in the second, and they've got the lead run on second.
You also begin to these games to see the importance of fundamentals. The Tampa club has out-hit the Cypress Fairbanks club 5-2. I believe that's what it is. And base on balls have really hurt this Tampa club.
Throw to third. They've got to play. Yes! So Matheson is thrown out, trying to steal third. A nice throw by the catcher, Barrazo, and the tag applied by third baseman Charles Beeger. But the big inning by Cy Fair as they get 3. This was the go-ahead run thrown out at third to end the inning. And at the end of 2.5, we're now tied at Cy Fair 4, the North Tampa Yankees 4. Today's game is also being brought to you by Chambrel at Club Hill, a senior living community that features amenities like chef-prepared meals, transportation, housekeeping, and more. And, of course, we want to thank the good folks at GTE, where the power is always on, for their sponsorship of this tournament, the inaugural Mustang League Southern United States Championship for 9- and 10-year-old boys. I'm Alan Stone along with Jim Sundberg. And going to the bottom of the third, we've got what you were talking about, we were hoping for, Sonny, a tight ball game.
A tight ball game, and probably just the time the kids were getting over the nervousness of TV. Now they've in a game that's very close and a lot of emotion into this.
Leadoff batter is the catcher, Joe Barrazo, who hit the 3-run home run in the first inning that propelled North Tampa to that early 4-0 lead. Barrazo's nickname is the Road Warrior. 10 years of age. His favorite player is Ricky Henderson. Count goes to 1-1 as Thomas Murray remains on the mound for Cy Fair, and he's also been an integral part of their offense, getting on base both times and scoring a run a moment ago. There's another base hit for Barrazo. Nice play by the right fielder, Bubba Teague, as that ball came up sharp and to his left, but Teague able to keep Barrazo to a single.
And Joey really has a nice swing to right field. Got that stroke down, hit a home run out into right center his last time up. And Dad, the first base coach, gave him a little bit of instruction. Looked like he might have whispered into his ear, take off for second after this on his first pitch.
The right fielder, Joey Simon, who's also a relief pitcher, struck out in the first inning up for his second at bat, and he gets a base hit to center. So the first 2 batters for North Tampa reach via singles. And North Tampa continues to have much the better of it in terms of numbers of hits. I believe that's their 7th now already.
Nice ball at the middle. It's a good thing that the runner was going. Joey was halfway to second base. Had he not done that, he might have been thrown out at second.
Runners going, throw to third, not in time. I say the runners are going. Actually, it was the lead runner going on that play. Zach Grant is the batter with a count of 0-1, and now there's runners on the corner with nobody out.
You might know, too, that both teams have really fine catchers here that throw the ball real well.
Third straight hit. for North Tampa. The throw to third base will get the lead runner, but a run comes across as Joe Barrazo scores as North Tampa regains the lead at 5-4.
Really hitting the ball very well here. In fact, this ball club, we talked earlier that very good hitting ball club, hitting just under 400 as a team.
Runner going again. Boy, that's the closest play we've seen at second place today, and a nice throw by the catcher Reagan Washington, but not quite in time. So Zach Green moves down to second base.
You can be a good throwing catcher, it looks like, just from watching this ball game and not be able to throw runners out. Just really is difficult at this age to be able to, as a catcher, to make up the difference with somebody leading off.
Ben Otero at the bank with the bat with the count of 0-2. He struck out in the first inning, but reached first base when the ball got away from the catcher. One out and a runner on second for North Tampa, which has regained the lead at 5-4, playing in the bottom of the third of the championship game of the Mustang League Southern U.S. Championships. And again, our home plate cameraman, Palmer Moynihan, right in the line of fire. Palmer, we saw you flinch on that one. Palmer said, this is hazardous duty for so early in the day. Count remains 0-2 as Otero fouls off another pitch.
You also begin to wonder, or while you're watching this ball game, begin to realize exactly how important trying to keep runners close. A lot of different pickoffs, and it has been effective in a couple of situations.
You know, once again, I think it's a real compliment to these players, Sonny, that as many pickoff plays as we've had, that there have not been any more errors than there have been on pickoff plays. The throws have been accurate. The second baseman, third baseman able to catch the ball as Otero goes down on strikes for the second time in this ball game, and now there's 2 outs with a runner on second for the North Tampa Yankees.
Well, just like in Little League, as it is in the Major Leagues, you get a good high fastball and very difficult to hit.
Louis Zelaya, the first baseman, who is 0 for 1 on the day. Rather nice play by the third baseman and the throw. The tag is put on. That's J.R. Barden at third, and the first baseman Drew Vaughn applying the tag. But North Tampa scores a run, and they regain the advantage at the end of 3. It's the North Tampa Yankees 5, the Cy-Fair All-Stars 4. Prestige Ford, located on South Garland Road in our host city of Garland, Texas, is proud to be a part of the first Mustang League Southern United States Championship. And we also appreciate the sponsorship of the good people at the Baylor Medical Center here in Garland. Baylor at Garland is here for you as we go to the top of the 4th. North Tampa leading at 5-4 over Cy-Fair. And the first batter up for the All-Stars from Cypress Fairbanks, the right fielder Bubba Teague. Teague reached first base on an error in the second inning, as Joey Simon has come on to relieve Jason Silbert as the pitcher for North Tampa here in the 4th. Simon, who started the game in right field. Nice curveball, and the count goes to 0-2. I'll be the first to admit, Sonny, that being able to determinate fastballs and curveballs is not my strength, but that one was a very obviously well-thrown off-speed pitch, especially for youngsters at this age.
And it looks like Joey Simon has the more curveballs, it looks like, than the last pitcher, Jason Seibert. There's a fastball.
And it's a called third strike.
Basically, Jason Seibert, we saw a lot of fastballs and a few curveballs. Here's the fastball from Joey Simon. And it may be that you've got a fastball pitcher you start out with. You go to a breaking ball pitcher here in Simon.
Well, Silbert struck out 6 batters in the 3 innings that he furled, and now Simon is on, and he's got a strikeout on his first batter. And the man up now, the catcher, Reagan Washington, a strikeout victim of Silbert's back in the second. Fouled off down the right side. You know, we were mentioning earlier we got had to pull away from it because of the game about what good shape this field is in. They tell me that we had about 2 inches of rain out here in Garland last night and early this morning, and when you factor that in, this field is in terrific shape for this ball game.
Well, I said Dave Burchett laid across home plate last night just to try to keep it dry.
Slept out here in a sleeping bag, as we understand it. Another fine curveball by Simon. And another curveball, and Reagan Washington goes down on strikes.
You know, when you look at the major league level, here's a pretty good curveball. Most youngsters that come at the major league level are good fastball hitters. So you've got to think that at this age that most kids like to hit the fastball, have difficulty with the curve. And we have seen here today that a lot of the kids have not been able to hit the curveball. Just very tough when you're 10 years old to be able to adjust to that breaking ball.
Get on the ground toward short, and the shortstop Zach Grant can't come up with it. That'll be an error, and Buck Kubiak gets to first base with 2 outs, and we ought to make mention of that because it was with 2 outs in the 3rd inning that Cypress Fairbanks struck back for 3 runs to get even though North Tampa retaliated with a run in the bottom of the 3rd to go back on top 5-4. And we go to the top of the order with Jeremy Hamblin, the second baseman, who has struck out and reached on a walk. Hamblin, an honor student at Francone Elementary School, just turned 11 years of age on Thursday. Once he pointed out that he wears Jose Canseco's jersey number, as Kubiak steals second base.
Not quite as big as Jose. got a little ways to grow. I guess the key is to look at his shoe size. if his feet were really big, then you know
he's got
a chance of getting to be like Jose.
I like the quote on Jeremy Hamlin. Says he never met a Nintendo game he didn't like. A 1990s version of Will Rogers, I suppose. Count is 2-0 to Hamlin with the tying run down in second. And Kubiak's going to be able to get to third base on the bad pitch here by Simon, who's had no trouble at all with the first 2 batters, but once Kubiak reached on an error, losing his control a little bit here.
I'll tell you what, I wish when I was watching my son as he was growing up that we had something like this. I wouldn't have had to bring my video machine out. Mom and Dad got a break today.
At the strike on the outside corner. 3-1 is the count. A game to be televised a couple of times along the HSE Prime Network. Chance for all the mom and dads to crank up the VCR. Full count now with the tying run on third base. Jeremy Hamlin, the batter. Joey Simon, the pitcher. And Buck Kubiak representing the tying run on third. And the count remains full.
I tell you what, you are doing outstanding with these names.
Well, if I don't know them, I just fake them. I just guess. Umpire took his time, but eventually says it is outside, ball 4. So runners at first and third now with 2 outs, and J.R. Barton, who's been a strikeout victim twice so far, the third baseman for Cy-Fair, into the batter's box. Okay, we've got a pinch hitter, John Taylor, batting for Barton. John Taylor is a young man who was born in Houston, Texas, attends Post Elementary School, also a basketball player. And now the runners go to second and third after Hamlin steals second.
I might mention that the Houston Ball Club tries to work in everybody during the course of the game, whereas I was told before the game that the Tampa Club probably will go with their set lineup.
Difference in philosophies here. Tough situation for Taylor with 2 men in scoring position, 2 outs in the top of the 4th as he sees his first action of the ball game, and it's a 1-2 count. Count goes to 2-2. Taylor so far in the series, Jim, is 2 out of 3. He scored a couple of runs, has an RBI. So pretty good hitter. And it's hit in short right field. The second baseman drops the ball. That allows Cy-Fair to tie it. But the lead run is thrown out at the plate. Jeremy Hamlin, the second baseman for North Tampa, Ben Otero, dropped the pop fly. So Cy-Fair once again strikes with 2 outs, getting the tying run in.
And again, this ball game, the fundamentals, the mistakes can be very costly, but a nice play, a recover.
Nice throw by Otero after dropping the pop fly to get Hamlin at the plate. And at the end of 3.5, Cy-Fair and North Tampa are tied at 5. Moving to the bottom of the 4th, and Jason Silbert, who started the game as pitcher for North Tampa, has now moved to right field. He is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Thomas Murray remains on the mound for Cypress Fairbanks. Count goes to 1-1 as Cy-Fair has come back after getting down 4-0 and giving up a couple of home runs the first inning. We're now tied at 5, playing in the bottom of the 4th. And once again, we'll remind you, this is a 6-inning game for the Mustang League Southern United States Youth Baseball Championship. Silbert lays it down. Nice bunt. He'll beat that one out easily. Well, that's an outstanding bunt by Jason Silbert.
The ball popped up in the air a little bit. The good thing about this is much like a 9-iron to the green. Ball really stuck and stayed right where it hit.
And some big sticks coming up for North Tampa. Here's Timmy Seaton, who's got a home run and a single in 2 at-bats. Silbert, boy, I tell you what, Cy-Fair is getting closer and closer on those attempted steal plays. As Reagan Washington again with a nice throw, but Silbert is into second base.
A type of ball game here today that would make Ricky Henderson very proud.
Yeah, we're not keeping stats on it, but the stolen base total is rather staggering. 3 for 3 is time Timmy Seaton. And this one gets away from the right fielder, and once again, North Tampa has the lead. And Seaton goes into second base. Boy, for Cy-Fair, it's just a case of having to play catch-up all day. Both times that they caught up, it didn't last long.
Ball hit very hard. There might have been a play at the plate. The ball takes 2 hops and past the right fielder. But had he come up with that, might have had a shot at the plate.
That was Bubba Teague that had difficulty finding the ball in right field. So Seaton continues to be a hitting terror for North Tampa. I guess we give him a single and an error on that. So he's 3 for 3, 2 singles and a home run. And Joey Brodigham, the left fielder, who has a double and grounded out to third in 2 at-bats. And Cy-Fair has decided to change pitchers as Thomas Murray has been replaced. In the bottom of the 4th, North Tampa has once again regained the advantage over Cy-Fair at 6-5. And we've had a couple of changes. Let's see, a couple to say the least. Pitching now is Greg Sanford, who's moved over from the shortstop position. The starting pitcher, Thomas Murray, has moved to third base. The catcher, Reagan Washington, is now playing shortstop. And the young man catching is Bubba Teague, who was playing right field. I don't have any idea who's in right field. Well, that's least of my problem.
I'll tell you, Bobby Valentine would love this move.
Situation here is nobody out. A runner on second. 1 run in for North Tampa, which has given them the lead back. And John Taylor has moved to right field. Ball it on the ground to the pitcher. That is Sanford, who throws out Joey Brodigham, and the lead runner moves to third.
We'll see if the infield is pulled in. See if the Houston Ball Club will try to throw the runner out the plate. Looks like the infield about halfway.
Strike on the outside corner. Charles Feiger, the third baseman, batting now for the Yankees. He is 1 out of 2 with a single. Grounded out to short his second time up. And once again, our behind the plate cameraman Palmer Moynihan right in the line of fire. He's looking for a helmet himself up there. Of course, when you're making the big bucks, Sonny, like Palmer is today, you know, you just consider that he's hazards of the job.
He's got a son that's a pitcher. He's had to put on the tools, catch him a little bit, so he's familiar with the ball coming in that fast. Son threw a no-hitter last year.
Count is 1-2 on Feiger. The run on third and 1 out. All popped up towards second base. Nice catch is made by Jeremy Hamblin. And the runner at third decides to stay put. So now there's 2 outs. And this will bring up catcher Joe Baruzzo as a home run and a single. And has hit the ball hard both times up.
That might be the best way to try to keep the runner from scoring from third, is to try to get a pop up in the infield. If they put the ball on the ground, I would imagine a runner would be able to score.
So 2 outs and a runner on third. And Baruzzo again tags one in the alley left center and off the wall for extra bases. Well, like I say, extra bases. Baruzzo takes the turn and decides to stay on first. But boy, I tell you what, you can't say enough about his impressive bat. He has stroked the ball well on all 3 at-bats, and the score now goes to 7-5 as Timmy Seaton scores on the hit.
Joey Baruzzo looking much like Rafael Palmeiro, hitting the ball to all fields with power.
And he will steal second base here as our batter Joey Simon, who started the game at right field, now pitching. Wow.
A big leg kick, kept his weight back, and a 1 hop off the wall.
You know, I was thinking about why Baruzzo didn't try to go to second base, because he's pretty fast. Looking at a good shot at it, but as easy as it is to steal second at this age, there's really no chance of taking a chance of getting thrown out. You can go on the first pitch.
Got to try to add those numbers up. I've seen Henderson do that.
Ground ball in the infield, may be trouble. Nice pickup there by the second baseman Jeremy Hamlin, and he throws out Joey Simon. So a couple of runs in for the North Tampa, Florida Yankees, who take the lead back at the end of 4 innings. It's the Yankees 7 and the Cy-Fair All-Stars 5. Alan Stone and Jim Sundberg back in Garland, Texas. We're into the top of the 5th inning of the Mustang League Southern United States Championship game, the inaugural championship game for 9- and 10-year-old boys, with Tampa, Florida leading it 7-5 as we move to the 5th. And the leadoff batter for Cy-Fair is the shortstop Greg Sanford. As you can see how serious the North Tampa Ball Club was as they flew their team in. I doubt the players have it in their contracts to get to fly first class, but they all were flown in for the game today. Ball hit toward third. And the pickup, the nice pickup at first base is made by Louis Zelaya. The third baseman Charles Feiger coming up with the ball at third, and 1 up and 1 down.
I'm sure this club has not put together a union yet. May be an advantage somewhere down the road, but we're just happy to play.
Here's Thomas Murray, who started the game at pitcher for Cy-Fair, then moved over to third base. He's 2 for 2 with a single and a double.
Nice little play. It was up on the grass, a little flip, a la Steve Buechele.
So Murray batting cleanup, and he's delivered a couple of hits today for his ball club. Joey Simon, second pitcher of the game for North Tampa, his second inning of duty. As Murray's got both of his team's hits so far today and make it all 3. So Thomas Murray goes 3 for 3 with another single to left field. So Tampa with 11 hits so far, only the 3rd of the game for Cy-Fair, but actually pretty close ball game at 7-5.
Now you see why playing up really hurt on that particular play. Before, the third baseman was playing up, made a nice play. That time it cost him a base hit, was unable to get to that ball.
Drew Vaughn, the first baseman, who has drawn a couple of walks in his first 2 at-bats. 5th year of organized baseball and has been selected for all-star play every year. Squares around, takes a called strike, and Murray gets down to second. Throw goes past the second baseman, and Murray will now go to third base. And once again, we've seen this pattern throughout the game, Sonny. North Tampa doing most of their damage on offense by hitting the ball. Cy-Fair taking advantage of defensive mistakes.
My arm's beginning to ache watching these catchers throw. I mean, this is, they've had their work cut out for them today.
On with a swing and a miss. The count goes to 0-2. Next to the last inning.
We have to put on a clinic here for the pitchers after the game, show them how to hold a guy on base here.
And Bond goes down on strikes. I'm going to let you handle that part of it, okay? 2 outs with a runner on third, and Justin Matheson, who's also walked both times in his prior at bats.
And again, the breaking pitch, a very tough pitch for these youngsters to handle.
There's the ball hit to left. If it's fair, it could be trouble, but it just curves foul. Left fielder out there, Joey Brodigham. A nice job of chasing after that ball. Nearly had a play on it. Yeah, you know, a curved ball dropping down and away from 44 feet, that ain't no fun.
Whether it's 44 feet or 60 feet 6 inches, can give a hitter lots of problems. Nolan Ryan, very familiar with the headaches over the years he has given opposing batters with that old hook he's got.
Indeed. Madison again hits it foul down the left field line. So no one on this Cy-Fair team but Thomas Murray has been able to hit the ball, but obviously they've gotten a lot of walks and several errors, at least 4, maybe 5 errors so far by North Tampa, as we see Thomas Murray leading off a third base there. Barely getting a piece of that one to Justin Matheson, staying alive. So from Cy-Fair's point of view, they would desperately like to get Murray in, as this is the next to the last inning, and they're down by 2. Hit toward shortstop, and slowly, no! Matheson beats it out, and that allows Thomas Murray to score from third base, and that'll tighten it up a bit on the infield single by Matheson. It is now North Tampa 7 and Cy-Fair 6.
It ends up being a big run right here, because what you've got the bottom of the batting order coming up, and with that in mind, probably not as good ability to score runs, and they're able to plate the run here and brings it within 1.
Tell you what, you can't fault shortstop Zach Grant. Ball was just hit too slowly, but he made a nice pickup and a good throw to first base. But Matheson just able to get down that line pretty well. So on only 4 hits, Cy-Fair has 6 runs, and Bubba Teague is up for his third at bat. He's reached on an error and struck out. And now the tying run has gotten down to second base as Matheson steals second. Oh, you're right. Ricky Henderson would be salivating watching this game.
Wow. He could break the record in 1 day. It's the all-time record. In fact, he might steal a couple of bases on 1 throw.
Going to third base. And getting to third base is Matheson, as the pitch is called a strike. The count, though, to Teague is 0-2, with now the tying run down at third base for Cy-Fair. So 2 very contrasting philosophies here, and both teams very effective at what they like to do. But there's the big curveball by pitcher Joey Simon. Teague goes down on strikes. Cy-Fair gets a run, but they still trail by 1. Going to the bottom of the 5th, it is the North Tampa Yankees 7, the Cy-Fair All-Stars 6. So far during this tournament, the North Tampa Yankees have breezed into the championship game. Had allowed only 1 run in 3 prior games, but obviously Cy-Fair right there, down by 1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. This is a 6-inning ball game. And North Tampa was jumped out early 4-0, hanging on now at 7-6. As Zach Grant, who is 1 for 2 this afternoon with a single, takes a strike from pitcher Greg Sanford, and now the count goes to 1-1.
And 4 of Cy Fair's 6 runs have come either on base, on balls, or errors. So that kind of the telling story here.
Yeah, 5 errors charged to North Tampa, the only real blemish against them so far this afternoon. On the other hand, North Tampa, as we mentioned, has had a couple of home runs, a couple of extra base hits, and overall have quite a few more hits than does Cy Fair, but the game still very much in doubt. As Greg Sanford in for Thomas Murray, pitching for Cy Fair. That took place last inning, and boy, that one goes off of Sanford. Nice recovery by the pitcher Sanford, throwing out Zach Grant.
Well, what a nice play that was. I don't know if he tried to get in front of it, he just couldn't get out of the way, and the ball relatively close to him. He was able to pick it up and flip it over to first.
That's the thing that most impresses me, Sonny, about kids this age. The play that Sanford made from his knees. You know, he get good zip on the ball, good direction. The kind of play you look at kids this age, you don't think they're capable of making those kind of plays. You associate that more with teenagers, but these kids obviously very talented. And there's a fine play by the shortstop for Cy Fair. And the throw dug out of the dirt by the first baseman, Drew Vaughn, and it's 2 up and 2 down.
Ends up being a big inning for the Houston Ball Club. Really trying to keep the Florida club from scoring, and they've got to come back in the top of the 6th and try to tie or go ahead.
This one is popped up toward short, but the third baseman, Murray, who was the starting pitcher, comes over, and it is quickly 3 up and 3 down for the North Tampa Yankees. Only the second time today that they haven't scored in an inning, and it is the last chance for Cy Fair as we go to the top of the 6th with our score: North Tampa 7, the Cy Fair All-Stars 6. Alan Stone and Jim Sundberg from Garland, Texas, as we move to the 6th and final inning of this Mustang League Southern United States Championship game for 9 and 10-year-old boys. This game being picked up by both Home Sports Entertainment in the state of Texas and the Sunshine Network down in the state of Florida. And the leadoff batter is Reagan Washington, who started the game at catcher, moved over to shortstop, made a nice play that last inning. He is 0 for 2 and has struck out on both prior trips to the plate. Okay, I'm sorry, we got a pinch hitter in here. Jared Grind, pinch hitting for Reagan Washington, leading off the 6th for Cy Fair, which needs a run to tie, or North Tampa will be the Mustang League Southern U.S. champion. Count is 2 balls and a strike to Jared Grind, pinch hitting for Reagan Washington.
Well, Joey Simon is showing more strength here in his 3rd inning of work than Jason Gilbert did. Joey much stronger at this period of the work, and looks pretty good right now.
Brian 1 out of 3 in this tournament so far, getting his first action of the day, and the count goes full. Now, you're right, Simon still got a lot on the ball, and that curveball continues to perplex the Cy Fair batters. Ball 4. So Brian gets to first base. The leadoff man is on. The tying run is on first base with nobody out in the top of the 6th. As manager Bruce Sanford looks on a little bit worried from the North Tampa dugout. Batter now is Buck Kubiak, who has struck out and reached on an error.
And normally in baseball, very important to keep the leadoff man off base, try to go after him, not walk him. More important, as we have noticed today in this particular game, the 9-10-year-old league that get on base, and they have been running.
And that's obviously on the mind of pitcher Joey Simon, as he continues to try to keep the runner close at first base. And there goes Grind. And the throw is not going to be in time. Here we go again. Grind gets to third, takes a turn. He's going to come on. This could tie the game, and it does. So Jared Grind scores all the way from first base on the steal attempt And Cy-Fair has got a run scored on no hits and still nobody out. And that's pretty much been the pattern, Sonny.
Well, again, somewhere Ricky Henderson is with a big smile, and maybe he might catch this game when he comes in to play against the Rangers.
Sixth error against North Tampa. Infield hit here by Buck Kubiak, only the 5th hit of the ball game for Cy-Fair. But here's the big play moments ago.
Well, fundamentally, you see the importance at this, even at this age level, trying to make the fewest mistakes as you can. Ball into center field, and the return throw from center is wild, and the tying run is allowed to score.
And this will bring the leadoff batter Jeremy Hamlin on. He has reached base 2 of his 3 prior trips to the bat, both on walks. Struck out in the first inning. Nobody out and a man on first base. You know, and again, and maybe it's just because I haven't been exposed to that much youth baseball, Sonny, but I was impressed there. Jared Grind and running the bases. He showed no, what's the word I'm looking for? I mean, he anticipated well when he got up at third base. He didn't hesitate at all. No hesitation when he saw that ball skip around. He went straight for home plate.
Well, I think if they've all been watching this game, the main thing is just keep running and don't put the stop sign on.
Hamlin squares the bunt, pitches a strike. Throw again goes into center field as Buck Kubiak steals second. And it's actually a pinch runner, we understand, for Kubiak out there at second base. We haven't gotten the name yet, and we can't see the number. That is Brian Molesky. And again, the batter Hamlin squares around the bunt and takes another called strike, so the count is 0-2. So Brian Molesky, the pinch runner down at second base with the go-ahead run, and this the top of the last inning, the 6th inning.
And Cy-Fair has the top of their batting order coming up, so that's definitely an advantage for them. Also in the next inning for the North Tampa Yankees, they will have the top of their batting order coming up. So a couple possibly good offensive innings here in the 6th.
And you know Cy-Fair would like to see Thomas Murray, their cleanup hitter, get up this inning because he has 3 of their team's 5 hits so far. And we're 3 batters away from getting to him as Hamlin hangs in with the foul ball. Lead run on second, no one out. In the top of the 6th of a tie ball game. And Joey Simon struggling a bit here, the pitcher for the Yankees. Gets the 3rd strike on Jeremy Hamlin, so it's 1 out with the lead run remaining at second.
And a pretty good fastball. Right there, blows it right on by Jeremy.
And this will bring up Jonathan Paul Taylor, who's been up once today. Runner going to 3rd, throw, skips away. Here comes the lead run for Cy-Fair. It is Brian Molesky scoring, and once again, the errors by North Tampa opening the door.
He tried to make a quick tag and did not have the ball. Ball got by, and now the Houston Ball Club with the lead.
For the first time today, Cy-Fair, Cypress Fairbanks, suburb of Houston, Texas, the All-Stars with the lead. And the pitch here to Taylor is a strike. 0-2 with 1 out, nobody on. Boy, Sonny, if you're North Tampa, this has got to be frustrating. You've out-hit your opponent about 11-5, but the 6 or 7 errors have really done you in.
Well, I've always felt in championship ball games, those who play fundamentally sound really end up winning. And of course, that has really hurt the Tampa club today, the errors.
But they do have the big sticks, and as Sonny mentioned, they've got the heart of their order coming up in the bottom of the 6th. They've been a very productive ball club. They have scored in all but 2 of the 5 innings so far, so even though they're now trailed by 1, 8-7, this one far from over.
That sounds a little bit like the Texas Ranger Ball Club. Good offense and some spotty defense.
And maybe we're starting to see some signs of fatigue on relief pitcher Joey Simon, as that pitch hit about 4 feet out in front of home plate. Evens out the count at 2-2.
Well, these kids normally have a 15-game schedule during the course of the season, and they're only allowed to have 3 functions a week during regular schedule. Of course, in the playoffs, you can play every day. And
there's a clean hit by Taylor into center field. And the Cy-Fair bats, which except for Thomas Murray, have been pretty quiet most of the afternoon. A couple of hits here in the 6th inning. And another runner for Cy-Fair with 1 out. And this will bring up the shortstop, Greg Sanford, who is 0 for 2 with a walk.
Going to finish that thought, both Jason Seibert and Joey Simon, who is pitching now, have shown fatigue in the 3rd inning.
Runner going again, and again the throw is bad, but the center fielder backing up. Won't allow any more damage. You kind of wonder about the attempts by the catcher to keep throwing to second base here, with many times that it has meant extra bases for Cy-Fair. Wonder if it didn't come a point in the game this tight, this being the last inning, and maybe you concede that base.
Well, I would bring the center fielder in a little bit and bring the right fielder behind him to back him up. That might be one way of taking care of this.
And then who backs up the right fielder?
We could bring the left fielder over. That, it doesn't matter. Line them all up down the middle.
Count goes to 1-1 on Sanford.
I think it's cute, too, the second baseman shortstop a lot of times coming in behind the pitcher when the catcher returns the throw back to him, and making sure, like the catcher is going to throw the ball away or something. They're protected from that.
Nice strike around the knees on the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2 on Sanford. 1 out, a runner on second. Cy-Fair with a couple of runs in this, the top of the last inning, the 6th, to go on top for the first time today at 8-7. And the count evens out at 2.
Yeah, these pitchers normally are only allowed to work 3 innings in a ball game, so you're seeing really fatigue about the time of the game where their endurance usually is what I would say, they're used to the 3-inning endurance, and of course they're right at that limit.
Well, we shall see. No one is up and throwing for North Tampa, but that doesn't mean anything, because probably if they decide to change pitchers, they would go with someone who's out on the field at another position. Count goes full to Greg Sanford, with Thomas Murray, who is 3 out of 3 on deck for Cy-Fair. Hit to left. The fielders collide, but the left fielder, Joey Brodigan, hangs on to it, and there's now 2 outs.
Yeah, you really have to be impressed, though, in watching both teams today, just the way they handle the bat at the plate, their stance. A little miscommunication right here. Center fielder normally is the person in charge. Left fielder says, I think I'll take it.
Center fielder picked off Brodigan's head pretty good, as Murray is up with a single, a double, and a single. He was the starting pitcher today for Cy-Fair. Gave way to Greg Sanford a couple of innings ago. Runner's going to third. Throw is in time, but the runner avoids the tag and gets to third base.
Seemed to be in a good throw, a good hard throw, but the throw was in foul territory on the wrong side of the bag. We'll get a look here. The third baseman in foul territory had to come back to try to make the tag, and runner at third.
Oh, Murray way out in front of that one. Missed it. The count goes to 1-1, and once again Simon shows us that curveball. Excuse me, that's 1-2. So Murray went fishing and came up empty, and Joey Simon tried to pitch out of trouble here, and another outstanding off-speed curveball by Joey Simon gets the job done as he strikes out the best hitter on this Cy-Fair team today, Thomas Murray. But Cy-Fair, with a couple of runs, has their first lead of the day as North Tampa comes to bat for the final time this afternoon, trailing Cy-Fair 8-7. Last chance for the North Tampa Yankees, behind for the first time this afternoon, 8-7 to Cy Fair, and Jason Silbert, the leadoff batter. He was the starting pitcher for North Tampa, and he is 1 out of 2 as a single, and also struck out, batting in the 9th position.
How about the 1 hour and 45 minutes going on? We're almost through with this ball game. We have all kinds of hitting, a lot of errors. The Ranger to play this kind of ball game, we'd be in about 5 or 6 hours.
Easy. But as you mentioned, these players just step right up there pitch after pitch. We don't have a lot of posturing and
scratching and
one thing and another. 0-2 the count to Silbert. And he strikes out. As Greg Sanford, the relief pitcher for Cypress Fairbanks, trying to nail down the Mustang League Southern United States Championship. But the top of the order is up, and that means Timmy Seaton, who is 3 out of 3 today, including a first-inning home run. So this one is far from over.
I mentioned last inning, the top of the batting order, and very key here in this last inning for the Florida Ball Club. They have got some outstanding hitters. In case you tuned in late, a team batting average of around 400. A lot of it having to do with the top of the batting order.
And Seaton remains perfect, 4 out of 4, and there's your tying run at first base. Boy, as Timmy Seaton nails another one to right field. Pretty close play at first base, actually. But 1 out, the tying run on.
One of the harder hit balls the whole day. A typical low ball left-handed hitter, and drills it between first and second. Now the importance of a runner on base comes out right here.
Joey Brodigan at the plate, and there goes Seaton to second, and they'll concede him second base. Brodigan is 1 out of 3 with a double and a couple of ground outs. So now the tying run is at second base with 1 out, and this continues to be a very entertaining ball game. Count goes to 1-1.
I think, too, the emotion is getting very high at this point. Everything is on the line right here. The bottom of the 6th inning, the last inning, 1-run ball game, and this is where the coaches have worked very hard with all their players, everybody giving instruction. Both sides very intense at this moment. Time where kids begin to get upset, and somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose, and somebody will be happy, somebody will be upset.
You see the manager for Cy Fair, Bruce Sanford, out to speak to his pitcher, Greg Sanford, as emotions are high. And that's one of the nice things about kids this age. They do not do a good job of concealing their emotions, and you can really tell what they're feeling at any time.
I've seen a few ball players back in the locker room, not on the field. I've seen a few major leaguers tear up.
Brodigan hits it in the air, deep to right center. That's up against the fence, but the runner had stayed near second base. He will not be able to score. So Joey Brodigan, boy, that nearly left the ballpark, hitting the base of the fence in right center field. Seaton goes to third. Brodigan is at second after a double, his second double of the ball game. And all of a sudden, North Tampa, which was in trouble a minute ago, finds themselves with the winning run on second base.
It's just about ended the game right there. About 4 more feet, the game's over with. Tampa goes home the winner. Now second and third, the third and fourth hitters in the batting order coming up.
Charles Feiger takes it outside. That one hit the GTE sign out there in right center field, one of our main sponsors for this telecast. That's Feiger, who is 1 out of 3 with a single. Count goes to 1-1.
Really, the strategy at this point, from what we have seen, you really need a strikeout or a ball popped up in the infield. It seems that any grounder in the infield will score a run.
Feiger fouls it off, and of course, after him, we get Joe Barrazo, who is 3 out of 3 with a home run, a couple of singles, and he has tattooed the balls today. So it looks like we're going to have a great finish either way. Count is 1-2 to Feiger.
The moms and dads, a nice job today of keeping their emotions in control.
Feiger takes a called third strike. Boy, that is big. Very big. 2 outs. The tying and winning runs in scoring position, and the cleanup batter, Joe Barrazo, with a 3-run home run in the first, singled in the third, and singled in the fourth.
And
coming to the plate.
I think you've got to think about walking him. I'm not sure of the rules in this as far as intentional walk. You can intentionally walk, and I think if I was the Houston Ball Club, I would definitely put Joey on base. I would not allow him to drive in the tying and winning runs. Normally, in any situation in the major league, you try to stay away from getting beat by their best hitter. And Barrazo leads his ball club in home runs.
And they are going to try to put him on. That is the strategy, correctly called by our crack analyst, Jim Sundberg. By the way, I don't want to echo what you were saying about the fans. That is so key at this age, that the fans keep things in perspective, the moms and dads, and that this, even though it's a very competitive ball game, a very competitive situation, and everybody keep things in perspective and not put any more pressure on these kids than needs to be. Boy, the runner is moving around at second and third, just hoping that a ball slips away here from Greg Sanford or his catcher, Bubba Teague. As the count goes to 3-0 on cleanup hitter Joe Barrago, who is 3 out of 3. And there you see on deck Joey Simon, the relief pitcher, who is 1 out of 3 on the day.
Joey will have a chance to be the winning pitcher and the star of the game.
Exactly. So Simon struck out in the first, singled in the third, and grounded out to second in the fourth. And there is obviously nowhere for him to go. In terms of pitcher Greg Sanford, he's got to come in here. Ball hit deep to right. Right fielder is back, makes the catch, and Cy Fair is the Mustang League Southern United States champions for 1991. As John Taylor in right field caught the ball hit well by Joey Simon, and that is the ball game. Cy Fair is your champion.
Well, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, very much shown here today. Outstanding ball game. Kids gave it their best. Their heart was in it.
An especially tough loss for North Tampa, who had breezed through their 3 prior games, Sonny, and it led the entirety of the day until the last inning. That was the only time that Cy Fair led, was when they scored 2 runs at the top of this inning to go out in front 8-7, which also became our final score. And there you have it. Cy Fair, Cypress Fairbanks of Houston, the All-Stars, win the Mustang Southern U.S. Championship 8-7 over the North Tampa, Florida Yankees. Rick Oden Park in Garland, Texas, the site of this year's Southern United States Mustang Youth League Baseball Championship, won by Cy Fair over North Tampa 8-7. And today's play of the game is brought to you by the Garland Community Hospital. It came right down to the last pitch of this ball game. The batter Simon hit it to right field, and John Taylor in position made the big put out that brings the title to the suburb of Houston, Texas, Cypress Fairbanks. That is our play of the game, brought to you by the Garland Community Hospital. We brought quality health care close to home. Well, today's championship game has been brought to you by GTE. At GTE, the power is on. By the Baylor Medical Center at Garland. Baylor at Garland is here for you. By Ramada Inn Northeast, the official host hotel for the Mustang Championship Series. And by the Garland Community Hospital. We brought quality health care close to home. For Jim Sundberg, I'm Alan Stone. Good afternoon from Garland, Texas.